Hello, welcome, I'm Devil Sniper and this is episode 6 of my career mode with Newcastle United. So first up is a trip to the Etihad Stadium against Man City. So the fixtures are obviously getting a lot easier. And as you can imagine, City came out of the traps at 150 miles an hour. They were all over us and it culminated in a chance in the 14th minute, but it was high and wide and we survived. As we moved into the 25th minute, we started to get a bit of the ball, you know, putting a few passes together, and then Diembaba broke down the right hand side, outpacing the defender, sticks the ball in, and would you believe it, Cisse headers it home to take a shock 1-0 lead. I was dead chuffed with that. You know, the boys have been up front, have been playing well, and perhaps taking them away for a wee break paid dividend, but we wasted an opportunity in the first half. You know, we cut inside, he could have slotted that home, it was unlucky not to slot it home. A fantastic flying tackle there from our lad early in the second half, but Man City just turned the pressure up. It was fantastic. I mean, they were all over us, we just didn't have an answer at times, and it culminated in this amazing piece of skill, and we were punished. Schneider, a cheeky buy from Inter Milan for Man City, absolutely punished us, and rightly so. You know, Man City were all over us. We were holding on for dear life. We did have another opportunity of sorts. It was a cross, and that's how exciting it really got for us, to be honest. It wasn't a good game, to be perfectly honest. It really wasn't a good game, and we should have been punished. But if it wasn't for great goalkeeping, we could have been seriously looking at an absolute hammering. I feel the booking was fractionally unfair, but you know, Simpson has been a fantastic defender for me all season. I still think he's personally should be in the England team, but you know, we'll see. But the entire game, as I said, we've just been under the pressure, and it continued. Late in the game, City were just all over us, absolutely all over us. They were turning a screw all the time, you know, constantly. That was a fantastic piece of skill, but thankfully they missed, and we were glad to get out of the Etihad Stadium with a 1-1 draw. So we decided to stay down in Manchester for a few more days because we had a tie with Manchester United at Old Trafford. And this one's close to my heart, being a Man United supporter, so I wound the boys up even more. I wanted them to play twice as hard, you know, really have a crack at the champions, have a right go at them, really dig in and see what we can do, you know, really put ourselves to the test. But as normal, they were just all over us. You know, it was just like the Man City game. We just didn't have an answer. They were stronger in midfield. Their movement up front was fantastic. Our defence was very static. Our midfield was extremely static, you know, not picking up runs. And we were punished, and rightly so. But I think that acted as a wake-up call, and it sparked us into life. A fantastic move that resulted in Cisse sticking it in the top corner. That was an absolute awesome goal. It still doesn't beat Danny Simpson's left foot into the top corner against Everton, but nonetheless, that was a world-class goal in my eyes, and that sparked us into life. As I say, you know, we started to get hold of the ball, we started to knock the ball round like we were champions, and that's what we needed to be doing all the time. And Cahill was extremely unlucky. Fantastic piece of skill, cuts inside, space opens up, hits it, and it just bends wide, which was really, really unlucky. But going into the second half, we sort of took our foot off the accelerator. We allowed Manchester United to get back into the game. We allowed them too much space. We allowed them to run onto us. And as you can see, they've got two players over on the right hand side, let alone the one on the left hand side. So many players running forward. They knock it inside to Modric, and unfortunately Modric does punish us, which is a real shame, you know, because we were in the game in the second half. You know, there was certain periods of the game that we were really in it. You know, we had a really good chance. I mean, that was a cracking shot. Keeper done well to save it. And unfortunately, we lost 2-1. So, our trip to Manchester wasn't the greatest, you know. We only picked up 1 point from a possible 6, which is quite a depressing statistic. But nonetheless, you know, that's all part and parcel of being a football team. You know, you go to these big clubs, you've got to expect a hard game. But we had some cracking news. Tiato, he's ready to play. I can certainly play if you need me, boss. The physio says there's a slight risk of aggravating the injury, but it feels okay to me in training, and I'm raring to go. What better news could I receive? But I'm not going to risk Tiato. You know, I'll stick him on the bench, but I'm not going to stick him in a team. You know, I want to bring him back slowly. I don't want to aggravate the injury. You know, he's a quality player, and I can't be dealing with not having him for another 3 months. So it's at James's Park, and we have to entertain Chelsea. Now this is going to be a tough game. Whatever way you look at it, it's Chelsea. They play good football, but we play good football, you know. We pride ourselves on a passing game. And early doors, you know, Chelsea applied a lot of pressure, but we got hold of the ball, knocked it round majestically, made a great move down the right-hand side. Orbiton, I don't know, you know, the kid's been on the bench most of the season. An injury to one of the lads and a suspension, and he got his break. You know, he got into their team, and he's just rewarded me by my faith by putting him in the team, by scoring early doors against Chelsea, giving us a 1-0 lead. You know, that's what we need. That was fantastic. Again, our keeper has stepped up. He did have a little bit of criticism for him in the last few weeks, you know, where I felt he's made a lot of errors, a great deal of errors, and he's put them right and then almost cocked it up. I mean, Jesus Christ, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Where was our defence? Look at that. No defence whatsoever. But if it weren't for our keeper being sharp, you know, that could have been a nasty shock 1-1. Not that we would want that. So we get a free kick. Let's stick Kabay on it, because he's got a rocket of a foot, which we've seen in recent weeks. But the free kicks go nowhere. And would you, Adam and Eve, this lad has been sent off. You know, he's played poorly. He hasn't done himself justice since his big money move from Ajax. But my God, what a finish to put us 2-0 up. And that was it. It was almost as if we broke the shackles and started playing some of the most beautifulest football I've ever seen. You know, look at the football. It's just free-flowing. Demba Ba nods it home, makes it 3-0. We're playing Chelsea and we're smashing them. Absolutely taking them to the cleaners. And about time too, you know. These boys I've got here are a quality side. A real quality side. You know, they've got a lot of fight in them. And Kabay had a fantastic game. And for me, he was man of the match. You know, he was just head and shoulders above everyone else. And Demba Ba, this is just... that is what Ba is all about. Direct power. That boy has got some skill. And we walked away 4-0 winners, and everybody was extremely happy, including the board. Even Mike Ashley was happy. He came down, offered to take the lads out for a few beers and a curry, and you can't ask for more than that. So all we've got to do now is just keep that form going, keep that consistency going, you know, keep playing the football we're playing, because we're playing some beautiful football, you know. We're knocking the ball around on the deck majestically. We've just got to tighten up at the back, you know. A few lax performances at the back. That's mainly because I'm crap at defending, to be quite frank. So, yeah. And then I get this shock message from Kader. You know, he wants to be playing more. But do you know what? I've got no problem with wanting him to play. But he's not doing a business in the reserve team. You ain't going to get into the first team. It's simple as that. Put the performances in and I'll consider you. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll catch you in episode 7.